Right, hello everybody and welcome to this exclusive interview session where we are sitting down with key representatives from African Bank, the Brave Group, the newly appointed advertising agency, along with Media Mix, the new media agency. We're also going to be joined by African Bank's Chief Marketing Officer. What do we hope to achieve in this conversation? Well, I want to delve into developments surrounding the recent agency appointments. We'll have a look at strategic vision. I want to explore innovative approaches as far as media and creativity is concerned. Everything that is going to shape African Bank's marketing endeavors going forward. Now let's bring into the conversation African Bank's Chief Marketing Officer, Sibusiso Khumalo. A very warm welcome to you. So maybe before we talk about agency appointment, the vision and goals that you have for the bank as you take the brand forward in a completely different direction, also having made key acquisitions.
I think it's an exciting time to be working in and for African Bank. We've got a very audacious goal where we really want to take this bank back to its original ethos, original mandate. And that means we've set ourselves a target and a task: de-risk the bank to a large extent by diversifying its income streams. And we're doing that through establishing new revenue lines. We've just released our set of interim results last week, and it's a completely different bank. It's a bank now that does have business banking. We've got alliance banking. We've got partners with large telcos and fintechs who are running banking services that are supported by African Bank. So the opportunities for us to really realize the vision that refuses to die, which is a diversified business that can serve the needs of the ordinary South Africans, is something that we can be proud as we start to see some of the green shoots.
So a very different bank, you say, and I want to pick up on that phrase because a very different bank also implies a very different approach to marketing. So where is your head in that particular respect?
I don't believe that it's a different approach to marketing in the way that I feel marketing should be. I think marketing should always be about communicating an authentic story. You don't have to craft the story. You have to articulate the story that is there. So we always need to go back to, what's our purpose? What's the why? What's the need we're trying to solve? And how do we constantly find innovative ways and new ways to reach new markets at the essence with the same story?
Mr. Kalenga, I'm not going to say the job is easy because it's not, okay? But to that point about the single premise and that premise of heritage, that gives you a laser focus, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, and it's a gift and a curse. A gift because it is authentic, a gift because there's a lot that has been considered within that to develop the story to date. A curse because we have to dig deeper. Right? We have to get a better understanding on the reality of the consumer that we're trying to reach. We have to be able to interpret that message in a relevant way, and we have to make sure that the message meets the messenger correctly. And I think that's the challenge. So I don't think it's a case of necessarily reinventing. It's a challenge of looking deeper within our own creative arsenal around how that message shows up in a relevant way today, because it is something that is authentically tied to the business and the brand.
And Andili, that makes choice of media all the more important, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Having looked at what the strategy is for the bank, I think it's quite clear on who they're targeting, and it makes our job a lot easier when we have a look at the research tools that we have and all the tools that we need in choosing the media platforms that we choose for African Bank.
Spoo, how did African Bank approach the selection process in terms of the creative agency? Be nice.
Just to touch on your previous point, I believe you need to offer a creative the freedom of a tight brief.
Yeah.
So when I narrow it down to say, there's one story and it's an authentic story, the challenge is how do you tell it to a new
Blessing and a curse.
and a new eye. So he's correct when he says blessing and a curse. Sometimes you wish you don't have to go through processes to find suitable partners. But it's a creative agency, a media agency are really your partners. You're going to war, and you're choosing who you're going to go to war with. So we do have a very detailed process, which is actually great because one of the things that I'm really proud of is our transformation agenda, that we cannot divorce our aspirations as a business. When we say we are a bank for the people, most importantly, by the people, and serving the people. So I need to find the people that are by the people that will enable us to serve the people. So it adds a little bit of complexity because we do understand that we're an economy that's continuously transforming. Through what we've said, we are, unapologetically looking for, Black-owned, Black-run service providers. And it's not just about the scorecard, because we're saying that if this is what we stand for, then surely it needs to reflect in everything that we do. And where we spend our money as a business is critical to that. I think it actually opened up my eyes that there's talent in South Africa, and there's service providers that are really operating at the same standards as these multinational, global, large agencies and media agencies that have the backing not only of local big corporates, but international footprint. It's quite heartwarming to find, Media Mix and Brave Group that are really, on par.
So no pressure at all, gentlemen, just as far as that's concerned. Sibusiso didn't mention, he used one word, and that was going to war. And he's right, because any brand in this post-COVID environment is going to war, and a brand needs good soldiers, good lieutenants with them. Is that how you see it? And if so, Musa, and I'll put the same question to you, Andile, in just a moment, how do you fight that war?
It's a very vivid analogy, and I think I do identify with it for a number of reasons. Financial services in South Africa has changed fundamentally. The focus and the requirement to plan and be strategic and take risks ahead of time, I think, is probably higher than it's ever been for financial services in the country. And therefore, the decisions you're making on a daily basis about the things that you're doing and the things that you're not doing, definitely for me is akin to a strategy for war. Now, why that becomes important is, and I think the value that we bring, is that in many wars that you fight, you need to take lessons from other wars before. And what I think is a strength of ours certainly is bringing out-of-category insights into the world and the journey we're going on with African Bank. What those out-of-category insights allow us to do is to borrow from some of our best battles fought before, from different environments, and try and augment that in terms of how we think about the business. But secondly, when you talk about preparation, a big part of it is the people that are currently on the war field, on the battlefield, and those that we're getting ready back at the office. And so a strategy for us is very clear around who we've put in front of clients in terms of the tip of the spear, or to refer to as the tip of the spear. But how do we then create new lieutenants, new people that are going to be able to inherit, new people that are going to be able to understand and go the distance. As you know, wars don't happen overnight. And so the ability for us to do that over a long period of time is important. It requires an investment from us as an agency. It requires understanding from our client. But that's the only way you win wars, is the decisions that you're making on a daily basis, as well as the people that you're putting on the field of battle. Last but not least, I think is planning. I think we have to get much better at, measure twice, cut once as a philosophy. And when we do move, we move quickly and we move in alignment. So I completely agree with the analogy.
Andile, what about you? What's your thinking?
I think it is a war, but I think we're up for it and we're ready for it. And the interesting thing is African Bank has very clear targets, and we've got very clear objectives in terms of what our expectations are and what African Bank is as a business wants to go to in the next 2-3 years. So that's very clear. And I think for us, with Brave Group, our aim is to actually assist with partners, is to actually make sure that the client, Sibusiso, his team, and the bank as a business actually achieves that goal. in terms of what they need to do. So we're here for it in terms of we've got the right skills within our offices. We're equipped to actually assist the client to achieve those goals.
So I'm going to then end off, and I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't extend the war analogy. You can't win a war unless you have specific or desired outcomes. There's that old corporate cliche about you can't manage it unless you can measure it. So in terms of marketing, how will you manage and measure, and what will you consider to be successful at the end of, campaign year 1, campaign year 2, or whatever the case is?
Yes. The biggest war that we need to win is the customer. If we can make a significant difference and impact in our customers' lives, then I think we're winning. If we can get our customers to make better financial decisions, then I think we're winning. If we can get our customers to embrace technology and the services that are at their fingertips, then I think we're winning. So as long as banking or access to funding, especially for businesses, is still an exclusive and is still a daunting task for many businesses, entrepreneurs, people with ideas, with dreams, with goals, we don't want them to end up in the cemetery. We want to say we are a bank that can believe in you. And that's the war that we need to go out together to make sure that we've got the right communication, that we've got innovative ways to reach that audience. People are bombarded on a daily basis with over 50,000 messages. How do we cut through that clutter? So it's not a war with competitors. It's a war with ourselves and the customer, because ultimately we can make a difference in the customer's mind, in the customer's pocket. We can make a difference in the communities, and we can make a difference to this economy if we can start to unlock the value that exists in all the ideas and in all the homes and people that want to send kids to school. In some homes, it's the first time that that child will be getting to university. We can enable that as a bank. We are a bank that can take you from cradle to grave, and through your life's changes, through all your milestones, through all the things that you want to achieve, we're there. But people need to know that. I truly believe that as a bank for the people, by the people, soon to be owned by the people, we can make a huge impact in the trajectory of this country.
Gentlemen, I think your strategy has just been written. To all of you, thank you very much.